This episode of the Dear America podcast is brought to you by Red Arrow Weapons. 100% made in America. Go to redarrowweapons.com today. Hey, what's going on, America? I am Graham Allen. It is dude time here. Are you falling asleep, Jake? Jake! Wake up.
Sorry.
We're not Joe Biden.
Just taking a Biden.
Listen, everybody, did you guys see Biden's virtual? Well, first of all, let's address the elephant. Alyssa's not here today. It's Jake and Graham time. We haven't done one of these in a long time. We were still at the Blaze Studios the last time we did just me and you.
That's a fact.
And so, so we get to be a little bit more aggressive than we normally are because Alyssa's like our mom in some way, and she likes to try to keep us in check.
We get in trouble.
That little plug at the beginning was Joe Biden had his virtual town hall yesterday.
Yes.
And Hillary Clinton was a guest. Woohoo! And she officially endorsed Joe Biden for whatever that's worth. But the thing that I want to talk about is we were watching it live here in the studio, and Joe Biden nodded his head down and closed his eyes and was stuck in that position for a solid 15-20 seconds.
Yeah.
Solid. Did not move, did not blink, nothing. And I yelled at Jake. I said, that dude is asleep in the middle of this virtual town hall. And Jake didn't believe it at first, but then of course everybody clipped it and it started trending on Twitter. I think the man legit fell asleep in the middle of his own virtual town hall.
Yeah, I mean, I would believe it, but I just think he was looking down at something.
That's an awful long time to just be looking down somewhere.
Sure
That's
is.
all I'm saying.
He probably forgot what he was doing.
All right, so we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Today we have a very special guest, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh Mcenany will be joining us a little later on in the show, but we've got a couple things to talk about that we couldn't talk about with her. And first and foremost, let's talk about the fact that 2 days ago, a solid 48 hours has gone by. The Pentagon officially releases just 3. I bet they have thousands of these videos.
Oh, yeah.
They released just 3 videos, and they confirm that UFOs are real. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say that one more time, just in case you didn't quite register what I said. The Pentagon of the United States released 3 U.S. Navy footage videos confirming, not we interpreted the video to be so. No, the Pentagon released a statement saying that they are confirming that UFOs are real.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Literally, nobody. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? UFOs are real, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the Pentagon just said. So does that mean that aliens are real? And if not, these aircraft that are doing these things that no aircraft has ever done before, is this from another country? God, I hope not, because we're in some serious trouble. But then if it's aliens, what the crap are we doing? Why are we not talking about this?
Yeah. Well, the people who already knew this, like one of those videos is old, like it's a few years old and has already been seen. Like I saw one of those videos 4 years ago.
Don't take this from me, Jake.
No.
Don't take this from me you've seen.
Well, it
this
goes
before.
to your point. It goes to your point. Like this stuff's been out there. I mean, there was a Navy released a video like 5 years ago of the same kind of craft moving like 20 feet off the desert floor at a crazy amount of speed. And I tried showing people and they're like, yeah, okay. And now I think people think the same thing.
Let's recap 2020 so far, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just recap it really quick. Okay. Just a mere few days into 2020, we have the whole impeachment drama. Okay. We have that horrific witch hunt, fake attack against our president. Then it seemed like maybe life was going to get to normal. And then we have the freaking coronavirus apocalypse take over the world. Okay, now we're not even out of it yet. And the Pentagon decides to just almost nonchalantly be like, oh, yeah, by the way, UFOs are real. What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
It seems like we're living in some video game or something.
I swear to the Lord above that we better see some alien spacecraft super quick. I've got some questions about this. So this is conspiracy hour. If there was ever a time to go into conspiracy mode, and we'll go into the conspiracy that is Joe Biden's sexual assault claims here in a minute. All right. If aliens are real, why are they not like, I don't know. Like this is crazy to me. This is crazy. They're just like hanging out, like flying around, just seeing what the crap's going on. They're like, oh, those people believe there's more than one gender. We're out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they worship trees and stuff still later. I'm being for real. What's going on? This is crazy stuff.
Well, there's a Canadian military general. He's like in his 80s now. But if you look up on YouTube, he was a high-ranking military official in Canada, worked with the United States. And he says there's 4 species on Earth right now.
Of aliens?
Yes. I won't even get into it.
How do we come up with that though? Like he's seen these other
because
species?
They are in talks with the governments of the world, Russia, United States, China. The highest ranking officials know about these aliens, and just look it up. I can't even get into it too much because
have you heard the rumor that every president gets like this notebook that's in their desk of like the secrets,
all the secrets
of America. Do you think that's real?
I don't know if it's a notebook, but I think there's
well, hopefully we would have digitized it by now.
Yeah. I think there's some sort of initiation. Well, not initiation. What's it called?
Hey, Donald, congratulations on winning. Oh, by the way, aliens are real. You know, I mean, it's just like day one. If I ever won president of the United States, that would have been the first question I asked. First trip, I want to go to Area 51 right now, and I want my absolute maximum clearance, and I want to go touch an alien.
Well, all those things that they tell them, like aliens exist, whatever, are things that they cannot just tell people. If Trump said day one, by the way, aliens are real, here's the proof, it'd be chaos. There'd be riots everywhere. It'd be a big hit on Christianity, potentially.
I want to just point out for a fact of this, okay? And we're not going to give any names away because we've got really good relationships with people, and we don't want to mess stuff up. We talked to some people very high up just recently, and we were like, hey, about this whole UFO thing. And they were like, we are absolutely not answering any questions about UFOs. Why? Why?
That's an answer in itself.
Yeah. What do you mean you're not answering any questions about UFOs? That seems to me like you're covering. Did you guys not know that the Pentagon was going to release this footage? I just have these very, very simple questions that I need to know about at this moment.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's fine. I don't really know what else to say at this point. UFOs are real. Yeah. And nobody's like batting an eye. Everybody's just like, whatever.
Well, there's only a couple outcomes that this could be. Either they crash landed here and it's us flying them. Like that's what Area 51 is about, reverse engineering alien technology to try and figure out how to use it, right? If they're able to travel across the universe to get to our planet, they're smart enough not to be seen. Our satellites, everything, they can get all the information they want about us without coming anywhere close.
Yeah, but see, like we walk around with ants and we like poke them with sticks and stuff. So you would think that they would have done something by now.
I don't know if we're quite comparable to ants, but what I think is that they're almost like drones. You know, they send out these, because to go that distance would take so much time that, I don't know. I think they're just observations. But if there's any time to come watch freaking planet Earth, right now would be a good time.
I just think that, to me, the overall thing that I just want to point out of the craziness is it's one of the biggest questions, like in the background, people have had for years. You know, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monsters, aliens. Area 51. I mean, we've talked about this for
it's like we just found Bigfoot and people are like,
Yeah, it's like literally Bigfoot just had a press briefing at the Rose Garden and everybody's like, cool. What? Are you kidding?
Make sure you're 6 feet away from me.
Yeah, make sure, Bigfoot. We don't know if you've got the Rona or not. And if aliens are real, why aren't we contacting them and be like, hey, we got a virus going on right now. I don't know if you guys can help us with that, but we'd really appreciate it. That's all I'm saying. Just how weird has 2020 had to have been already that people find out confirmed by the Pentagon that UFOs are real. And everybody's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's like me and Alyssa talked about this on her podcast, that when it comes to the child pedophile ring, there's this mental barrier that we set up that we don't want to cross, because if we do, it's a whole new world and it's not always sunshine and rainbows. And I think people see a UFO.
That's trademarked by Rocky. We can't take credit for that. Oh,
sorry. And the White House is like, yeah, UFOs are real. People still have that barrier in their mind. They're like, no, they're not.
Yeah, the stock market didn't dip. Nothing. You would think that if we found out that aliens were real, people would panic buy a little bit. But no, nothing. Not a word. So that's weird to me. The mainstream media is not covering this. I saw Fox News do like the very few people that are covering it, they're almost kind of dismissing it like a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this isn't like some home footage from some hillbilly in the woods. This is the Pentagon of the United States of America that releases stuff, and everybody's just like, oh, Pentagon.
Yeah, and
at it again.
Remember what UFO stands for.
Unidentified flying object. Yeah,
yes.
I get it. I understand they didn't say aliens exist.
Aliens exist, yeah.
But either way, you got two potential issues. But issue number one is other countries have technology that we have never, ever even fathomed before, which is honestly almost even scarier, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
That other countries are so much more advanced than we are. Or two, you got some aliens. There is no other there.
Or it's our country, and those people in the Navy weren't even at that clearance to know that that was one of our guys.
Then why release it? Then why release it if it was our country? Like remember when that stealth bomber came out, the bomber that's in the V shape or whatever?
B-2.
Yeah. Everybody thought that was a spaceship. Okay, but very quickly the Army the military came out like, no, that's our new ship that we're working on.
Yeah.
That is not an alien. And it's not a UFO. Now we're just releasing footage and just be like, yeah, we don't know what the crap these things are. Yep. What? Are you? I don't know. To me, that just seems a little weird.
Dude, look up, if you guys are interested in like UFO stuff, look up the Black Knight. Knight is in Knight.
So racist. God, you're racist. Right here on the show.
Well, it's this object that's been floating around outside of our atmosphere, circling the Earth. And if you look
we call it the Black Knight?
Yes. Look up pictures of this thing, man. It'll freak you out. It's like outside of satellites, but man, it's pretty freaky looking.
All right. So, okay.
Anywho.
All right. Hashtag Dear America. Do you think aliens are real? Okay. So let's move on here.
Where are the aliens?
We've got a video premiering while I'm talking. And so I'm like checking stats while we're talking here. All right, so let's talk about, I just dropped a social media video about a huge scandal, in my opinion, that's going on. But before we get into Biden and the hypocrisy of things, let's get into a sponsor. Normally, when we talk about Freedom Project Academy, it's because parents want to protect their children from left-wing propaganda and indoctrination. Now, with school districts closing down due to the spread of coronavirus, you have a new reason to consider an accredited online education from Freedom Project Academy. From the comfort, convenience, and safety of your home, your children can receive an accredited classical online education built around Judeo-Christian values from students in K through 12. This is simple, complete, interactive educational experiences where students attend live classes with students across the country. Most importantly, they teach students how to think, not what to think. Go to freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com and request your free information packet today. Enrollment had just begun when the coronavirus hit, so classes are filling up faster than normal because parents are concerned for the safety of their children. This is a great opportunity to enhance their education and keep them safe at the same time. Again, that's freedomforschool.com, freedomforschool.com. Okay. All right. So now let's get into a very serious topic. And then once we're done with this, that was my redneck coming out a little bit. Once we're done with here, we're going on over there and blah, blah, blah. All right. We've got White House Press Secretary Kayleigh Mcenany very shortly. But I want to talk about Joe Biden. All right?
Joe Biden.
All right. So it has come out. It's been a couple weeks now, I feel like, since this first Tara Reade sexual assault allegation has come up. I know we talked about it a couple episodes back, and we all said the same thing. We're like, hey, man, at the end of the day, this was 1993. It's 2020. That's a long freaking time to have just now said something. That's what we said, okay? Now, let me preface this entire conversation with saying I am 100 million % innocent until proven guilty. I don't care who it is, okay? I don't like Joe Biden at all. I think Joe Biden should be treated innocent until proven guilty. However, I guess it's been almost a year now, the whole Kavanaugh thing and the reaction from the media, politicians, Hollywood elites kind of changed the overall narrative of that against an innocent man who had an accusation against him. But back to our original thing. Our original question that we had of Tara Reade was, why are you just now saying something?
Yeah.
Well, now footage has surfaced, okay, which this footage alone is more evidence than they ever had against Brett Kavanaugh.
Right.
Okay. 1993, CNN, Larry King. All right. Larry King used to be the king, literally, of news, TV, news, TV, news, radio, whatever. They called in to Larry King to talk about this. And nothing was done back in 1993. I don't really know what happened back then. I was 6 at the time, okay? So I can't really tell you any more than that. But what I can tell you is that video has surfaced on Twitter, and Twitter has taken it down multiple times.
Yeah. CNN scrubbed it off their streaming services.
Why? Why do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Okay? Also, what is very, very, very interesting is some of the key politicians, some of the key Hollywood elitists that were ready to put Brett Kavanaugh's head on a pike have now know that these allegations are there against Joe Biden, but they're just openly endorsing Joe Biden, even going as far to say, I believe Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's explanation is good enough for me. His explanation, not an investigation into the truth. His explanation is good enough for me.
Yeah. Even the moderates that are saying, like, let's run this through the proper channels. We need to be legal about this. It's like, like we were saying with Kavanaugh?
Yeah.
Back when we were sexist, all the names. I don't think we call them enough names. I think that's what it is. The left are bullies, and they just sit there and call you racist, blah, 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 and pressure you into doing something.
They were saying that CNN, during the entire Kavanaugh debacle, ran over 600 articles attacking Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
600 articles. I looked it up. I did CNN Joe Biden assault. The first article from CNN was published 12 hours ago. The first one.
Yeah.
The first article from CNN. And the only reason they're doing it is because enough people like us are saying, what the crap is going on? We're not saying that Joe Biden did it. Of course, I'm not saying that. I don't think he would remember if he did it. Either way. You'd have to try him, you wouldn't be able to try him as a normal person. You'd have to try him for mental incompetence at the end. But either way, all I'm saying is I'm wanting to talk about the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah.
Okay?
Blatant.
Hashtag believe all women, hashtag me too. the deafening silence from the very people that were the biggest advocates of that during the Brett Kavanaugh is proving what we said all along, that they don't believe women. Right. They don't care about women. They're not empowering women. They just hated Donald Trump and tried to ruin a swing vote in the Supreme Court to the conservative side of things.
Yep.
That's all there was to it.
And it's the same for every group of people that they always target, right?
Yep.
Women, Hispanics, blacks. Look at people like Terrence Williams. They are blatantly attacked by the left. Well, do you care about black people? Do you care about black people that do what you say? Do you really care about women, or do you care about, the liberal side of women?
The thing that's so interesting to me is the fact that you can literally pull up what these people said, what they did, the things they said. Even Joe Biden, the text he put out or the tweets he put out during the Kavanaugh hearings and stuff. And you can literally hold that up to what they're saying now with more credible allegations against Joe Biden and just nothing.
Trump derangement syndrome. I think they're so afraid of Trump being reelected that they're like, this is our guy. We have to stand behind him, because if he goes down for this, what are we going to do? We got Trump again. So they're willing to let go of all their values, everything they stood for, because they're so afraid of Trump getting elected again.
If I was the White House right now, I would plaster Tara Reade on every single thing that they do. That's what I would do. And I would simply put it innocent until proven guilty, but everyone should be treated the same or something like that. And along the lines of, if we did all this craziness for Kavanaugh, why in the teetotal crap are we not doing the same thing for Joe Biden? Well, that was a Supreme Court justice. We had to get to the bottom of it. This man's trying to run for president of the United States.
Yeah. Okay. And if he didn't do it, wouldn't it make sense to be like, sure, yeah, I'll go answer questions?
To me, that's the weirdest part, okay? Kavanaugh. When Kavanaugh accusations came out, one of the first freaking things that happened was Kavanaugh put out a statement. It's like, this is not true. I did not do this. 100%, this is a lie. Joe Biden hadn't said crap.
Right.
Nothing. They don't want Joe Biden to open his freaking mouth about this stuff, man.
Joe, you got to say something about Tara Reade. The actress?
Yeah, the actress. Who? Who's Joe?
Who's Joe?
You know what I mean? But I saw the most just humiliating ad from Joe Biden the other day where it was him and his wife, and he was just standing there. It was a solid 2.5, 3 minute ad. And his wife talked the entire time. He didn't say a word, not even a yeah or nothing. He didn't speak. The man was not allowed to speak. You let your wife talk. You shut up and stand there, you senile old fool. That's what I'm saying, guys. I think they know. Well, one, the way that the mainstream media is acting, the way that the Democratic politicians are acting, the way that the Hollywood elites are acting, it's almost like they know he did it. Mm-hmm. And so they're just completely just trying to step over it, because I think they know that if they really started digging into Joe Biden, they're going to find some stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know that. That's a personal opinion. And of course, again, I say innocent until proven guilty. But every action that they are taking right now points to they believe that he did it. And they don't want anybody digging. Every action of conservative GOP members during the Kavanaugh thing, even the president said, let him go to trial. He needs to go to trial. I'm not stepping in. Let him go to trial, because if he did it, he doesn't deserve to be a Supreme Court justice. And if he didn't do it, the truth will come out. I remember very vividly the president saying that. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not helping him. I don't need my Supreme Court justice to be weak. He needs to go through this. If this is, if this is what we've got to do to get to the truth, it needs to be done. Do you see the difference there? Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. It's really, really crazy to me. I just put a video out about it, and I'm curious to see if Facebook blocks it
Oh, of course.
I'm pretty sure they won't let it be monetized. I'm just interested to see the distribution rate of this video, since it is blatantly talking about the hypocrisy between Kavanaugh and Biden accusations.
Right. If you're for women, it should be regardless of political party.
Yeah.
If you are a believe women, it is above politics. It is above being Republican, liberal, whatever it is. And man, this just looks so bad. The optics on this is terrible.
Well, the optics on it is terrible, but the problem is it's just like even with the president, it's the Stormy Daniels accusations. Mm-hmm. And now later on, even after he paid her to shut up, right? Mm-hmm. Now she's come out and said, yeah, it never happened. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's stuff like that. And here we are with there's nothing to suggest that this woman is mental. There's nothing to suggest any of this. And to me, it doesn't seem like there's any true vindictiveness behind it, because this woman has said something before.
Right.
And it's on videotape, unlike word of mouth, like with the Blasey Ford stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's on video. She called back in 93. Okay. Let's try to put ourselves back in 93 world. Okay. There were no cell phones.
It's a different time.
There were no cell phones. There was barely any internet in every house.
Yeah.
If you needed to get something heard about, you called into Larry King. Okay. Let's just put it in full perspective here. Okay. She called the absolute biggest story busting thing that she could possibly do back in 93. There was no one bigger than Larry King.
And CNN actually used to be unbiased in the early 90s.
Well, yeah, of course, because they didn't realize the power they had yet.
Right.
Okay, but my point is this. She did the most massive thing that she could do back in 93. Mm-hmm. She called into the biggest news personality in the world, Larry King. Nothing happened. Yeah. And so now she sees this man who did this to her in 93. She witnessed the Brett Kavanaugh stuff go down. And now she's saying, wait a minute. This guy did to me what you claimed Kavanaugh did to another person.
Right.
I talked about this in 93. Nothing happened. Now I'm coming forward again because the guy's running for president and you guys still aren't talking about it.
Right. And you know, all they have on Trump is that audio from the tour bus,
which again, every man in America is like, look, was it good? No. Does every man ever talk about some stuff they probably shouldn't talk about? Yeah.
It's like being a famous musician or something and telling your buddy, yeah, they just throw themselves at you, man. They'll let you do whatever, right?
Yeah, man.
That's it. And every time they say how he's a sexist, blah, 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 they refer to that video. Okay, well, look at all the inappropriate touching videos of Biden and then add this on top of it. If Trump was like rubbing on people's shoulders and kissing them constantly, then maybe I'd say that bus video is kind of weird because he is real, aggressive.
The man bit his wife's finger on live TV like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. You think for yourself, maybe here soon this story is really going to break. I feel like it's on the cusp of becoming a big deal. And so that's one thing that we hope this and the videos we're putting out, hope that this pushes it over the edge that it needs to be pushed over to. Yeah, it's interesting to me that the Trump campaign has not even... I know Don Jr. started saying some stuff about it.
They're getting the ammunition ready.
Anyway, all right. Enough with the antics.
Yeah.
Now it is time for, outside of Sarah Sanders, probably one of my newest favorite White House press secretaries.
Yeah.
This chick doesn't pull no punches. She punches you right in the mouth. I love it. I think it's awesome. Kayleigh Mcenany joins us. Do we have another ad?
No, we do not.
Oh, well, let's get right into it then. All right. This interview is super awesome. She sat with us while she was in the White House via Skype, and it was really cool exchange of thoughts. We talk about the economy. We talk about this coronavirus crisis and the PPP program. Ladies and gentlemen, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh Mcenany. All right, and without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh Mcenany.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Kayleigh. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, so let's jump right into it. I know your time is very valuable. So the world has been thrown upside down, especially the past 2 months, really. And everybody sees what's going on in New York. Everybody sees what's going on in these major affected areas. But right now, the small businesses, the real mom and pop areas that haven't seen this PPP program come through yet, you see reports of these major organizations like the Lakers are giving it back, thankfully, doing the right thing there.
Shake Shack.
But these mom and pop areas in rural parts of the country, all they want to do is go back to work. What is something that they need to hear from the White House perspective?
Well, first, let me start with the Paycheck Protection Program because you mentioned that. And, I'm pleased to report to you today that 0.3%, so 0.3% of the loans given out from PPP have been about $5 million or above, which means that 0.3% of the people who have received these loans are the bigger companies, and meaning the vast majority are out there helping small business owners.
Exactly.
In fact, 1 million of the 1.6 million loans given were to businesses of 10 or fewer employees. So the people who are needing help are receiving the help. That's how it was designed to work. But in terms of getting back to work, couldn't agree with you more. The president couldn't agree with you more. We want a safe reopening of America, and we're pleased to say that 25 states, it's probably a little higher than that by now, but as of yesterday, it was 25 states released reopening plans. 25 states have now announced that they will announce reopening plans and the guidance further. So we're in this moment where we're finally starting to reopen as a country. I was just with Governor DeSantis and the president and was hearing all about the encouraging signs they're seeing in Florida. So Florida is a great model for what it looks like for a state to take the lead and the federal government to supplement. And I think we're heading in that direction. And Americans, I couldn't agree with you more, are ready to get back to work in a safe manner.
Yeah. So one thing that I'd like to bring up with you is you're starting to see, especially across the states, where it can be argued that maybe some governors are overstepping a little bit on what citizens are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. You're starting to see peaceful protest, which is very much our rights as Americans to be able to do, where people are starting to say, hey, we believe in data, we believe in science, but thankfully, because of this president's actions against this virus, the numbers are astronomically lower than what we originally thought that it could be if Americans didn't come together to initiate this president's plan. What do we tell to those citizens that are saying, hey, look, we're looking at these numbers. We're not New York. Here in South Carolina, we have 5,600 cases out of over 5 million people. So roughly 1% are infected. Only 100 of those have died, unfortunately. Where is the line between citizens just wanting to do their rights as Americans and go to work, provide for their families, and what's the line of they need to just listen to whatever the governors are saying? Because I know the president is very pro opening back up.
Yeah, first I'd say listen to your governors, because this president, by the way, I think this is a great point that isn't talked about enough. We're in the middle of a public health emergency. And what did this president do? He decentralized power, gave it to the states, rather than aggregating power, which so many presidents do during times of crisis. So good on the president for doing that. Follow what your governor says. This is a governor-led approach. But I would say this, that governors need to follow the science. They need to follow the data. For instance, there were some examples of, one governor saying alcohol is essential, but seeds are not essential and pain is not essential. And these kinds of things that didn't really make sense in the minds of a lot of Americans, these draconian kind of regulations that didn't seem to be undergirded by data. Governors must follow the president's lead, look at the guidelines, use data, and open in a way that is safe, but open in a way that allows people to get back to work if the science suggests that you're at that point. And there are a lot of great models of states out there who are doing it the right way. And there's a way, by the way, if you are in a state that has met that 14-day decline period and can start to go into phase 1, there's a way to go back to work and still carry forward some of these practices like washing your hands and social distancing and following these guidelines in your workplace. As the president always says, hey, I was someone who never really was about shaking hands, and now we'll see where society goes with this handshaking business, because we're at a place where Americans are very cautious and rightfully.
Maybe we'll start bowing.
Oh, goodness. Or air fiving. That's what we should do. All right. I want to ask you 2 questions about this great president that we have. Well, we're very pro President Trump here. I've had the privilege and the honor of meeting him several times. I think he could go down as the greatest president we've ever had. Yeah. I want to talk about the fake news media for a minute, if I may. All right. The president calls them the enemy of the people. I very much agree with that. I think it is absolutely horrific what is going on. And unfortunately, the vast majority of Americans are subject to this just lies that the mainstream media is putting out. What do you make of this? We were just talking about this today. We watch the press briefings every day, and this blatant disrespect that you're starting to see by the mainstream media towards this president. To me, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he doesn't just say, I'm the president, we're not doing this anymore, this is ridiculous. What does that say to the character that President Trump has, that he still goes out there every single day just dealing with this assault that he's being given every single day by these dishonest journalists?
Yeah, this president, he loves speaking directly to the American people. No one does it better than him. And each and every day, I see him fight for the American people, fighting to get them accurate information, fighting to give them optimism as we're in the midst of a crisis, and give them confidence that America will do what America does and reemerge from a time of pain. And I see him repeatedly taken out of context by the media. I've seen reporters yell at him in the briefing room. I've seen them, completely disrespect the office of the presidency. And I would encourage, look, I respect journalists. I respect the First Amendment. We have a right to free press in this country. But this president also deserves decorum, respect, fairness, to be taken in context. If you are a reporter, and this has happened before, where I will tell you that your information is wrong, and they run with the story nevertheless and don't quote the White House in that story. That's not fair. That's not good journalism. It's not good journalism to run with a story and never even reach out to the White House. And look, these are the reporters who are, just a handful. There's tons of good reporters out there and good journalists, but I would encourage all journalists to live by the journalistic standards that make a journalist and give this president the respect that he deserves. Because look, this is a guy who's just fighting for the American people. I see him do it each and every day. He's the hardest worker I've ever seen. He's the most brilliant president I think we've ever had. And that's why millions and millions, literally, he's busting through ratings with all of these briefings. Millions and millions tune in to hear from him because they take great confidence in the words of President Trump.
Absolutely. All right. So I know your time is very short, so I want to ask you one last question, but before you have to go. It's been circulating around the news, Nancy Pelosi, where the Democrats have made it very apparent that the American people are not at the forefront of their thoughts. They have their own agendas in place. Nancy Pelosi just the other day came out and said that President Trump's China ban, now she's saying, wasn't strong enough. Yeah. Whereas back on January 31st, she was saying how un-American, how horrible it was, and they were trying to limit his powers to be able to do so. What do you say to the American people when they see this blatant hypocrisy against this president and against his administration?
I'd say that we have to hold people accountable to their words. Look, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats were never on the side of the China travel ban. Remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who was saying literally a month after the president put in place these travel restrictions, which were life-saving, as Dr. Fauci has noted. A month later, she was saying, come to Chinatown. Let's have a party in San Francisco. I mean, this irresponsible kind of encouragement of public gatherings, a full month after this president took this seriously and implemented implemented the travel restrictions. What I would say to Democrats is let's stop playing games with the livelihood of the American people. As you'll recall, the CARES Act, that $2 trillion stimulus package, was delayed by a whole week because Chuck Schumer all of a sudden decided that there wasn't a deal. Then we had the replenishment funding for PPP. All of a sudden, that's delayed for a week as Nancy Pelosi is out on late night television eating ice cream.
Yeah.
I've literally read the stories of businesses that almost had to lay off workers as they waited a week for this replenishment funding, which is why I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, Nancy Pelosi, she won't lay off the ice cream, but she will lay off the American worker.
Wow.
Well said.
Yeah, she stands in front of that very expensive ice cream refrigerator. Instead, she should get back to work, stop delaying the relief the American people need.
Well, I don't think we could have said it any better ourselves. Kayleigh, we know you got to go. Thank you so much for just taking some time out of your very hectic schedule and coming and talking to us. We really appreciate it, and we'd love to have you back on whenever you have a chance.
I've enjoyed this. Let's do it again. And I just want to say hi to Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA.
All right. We love Charlie over here. All right. Thank you very much.
Kayleigh.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so that's all we have for this episode of the Dear America podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is a reminder that my book, America 316, is still available for pre-order. You can go to America316.com. I sign every single pre-order, so go get that right now. Tell a friend about the Dear America podcast, just one. Subscribe, rate us, give us a comment. It helps us in the polls. You have no idea. Jake, where can they find you?
On Instagram at @producer_Jake.
And even though she's not here, you can find Alyssa at Alyssa Allen on IG and her newest podcast, Hey America, anywhere you get podcasts as well. And of course, I'm Graham Allen. That's all we have for this episode of the Dear America podcast. And we'll see you all again next time.
See you.